So this is not what necessarily you might think it is. This is also what the people who are behind Sharpton walking into this Costco think it is as well. He is not a reverend or pastor. He is a communist. When I call people, when I say that there is one particular group that sustains the communist base in the country, it is the one group that ever since the days of MLK feel they are entitled to everything to be free in this country, and they feel that the state and the government owes them because of stories they'd heard of a slavery that might or might not have happened hundreds of years ago. That sets the tone for entitlement. You know, it's a funny thing about human nature. For some people, if they think they have something coming, they won't do anything except wait for it. If you tell somebody they have a huge check for reparations coming, they will sit for 30 to 40, 50 years of their life in a box, and they will sit there and they will wait for that check. They won't go out and do anything else. They won't build or take care of their families or contribute anything. And unfortunately, that's what you see when it comes to the breakdown of just particular faction in our society. When you want the government to control all means of production, that's communism. When you want the government to give you free housing and free food to feed your families, when you want free education and you want free healthcare, these are all things known as communism. It's a step from socialism. In a way, we have two different societies operating in the United States. We have a capitalist class that works, but huge portions of our tax base goes towards funding a delusional, self-loathing class of communists in this country due to the fact that they do share a citizenship from the 14th Amendment, I believe. A citizenship that is granted, that is actually taken for granted now, to the fact that they are literally protesting for people with no citizenship to get the same benefits as those of us who have citizenship, which would mean that your citizenship is no longer elite. It means nothing at a certain point. If that's the case, if everyone can have it, then how is it special? No one asked that question. So this was a beyond failure of a stunt. But you cannot shame the shameless. And again, this is one of those videos where you don't even need to do a huge deep dive. It can be a shallow dive. You're in ankle deep water. You don't really need to go in here too far to see what really happened. So let me break down what happened. These are people that follow Al Sharpton because they know he's a scammer. One thing about people who scam is that if you hang around them, right, you might get some free stuff in their windfall. You know, if you're hanging out with a friend of yours who's a shoplifter and they're really, really good at shoplifting, they might steal you some stuff too. So sometimes you'll hang around them, or if you're really dumb, you'll give them a ride to the store they're going to rob. And maybe they'll get you some socks or some t-shirts out of there too while they're stealing televisions. That's what happened here at Costco. All these people showed up believing Al Sharpton was going to get them some huge discounts or some free stuff from Costco. Nobody in this crowd was expecting to spend 1 red cent on a membership, on a bulk set of tires, on those little wraps of those chicken wraps they sell in the front with the pizza. Nobody was going to spend a penny. All of this is because they want to push the DEI gay agenda, pretending that they're fighting against white people and Trump. Even though last time I checked, Costco is a company owned by white people. It's all a scam. And just like any scam, you're not allowed to question it or the scam falls apart. So they do not welcome us in our criticism for these stunts. So that's why we will criticize these stunts and we'll make fun of them. So this is a comedy tour. Let's watch the intro. Now, this is Sharpton and his mass of, disillusioned communists with their hands out looking for free stuff, but he's the leader in the front. So he would have to administer the free stuff to them. They're not going to shoplift or anything, but he's the guy that's supposed to, be in control of the hustle, and he has to distribute the wealth. It's what communists do. So let's give it a second and see how he distributes. It's like they're invading a Costco. Like, why? Like, Costco is some kind of foreign place that they've been barred from, when they can just get a membership and anybody can literally go to Costco. The caption is funny. Nothing could get us to cancel our Costco membership faster than seeing this disgusting display of anti-Trump, anti-white, pro-DEI. So sick of Al Sharpton scamming the Black community and promoting racial divide. This is the most truest part of this whole thing. It's anti-Trump because it is anti-white, but really it's just anti-white. Trump is just a symptom of the animosity and the envy shared by this delusional community against white people. For example, I didn't even watch the Grammys, but people surrounded themselves and they loved the whole Kendrick Lamar thing because they feel that Drake is white adjacent, being that he's half Jewish. The reason they wanted to crowd around and promote Kendrick about making that song, because they felt like in a way they're fighting against their white enemy. You guys don't know the mentality or how the minds work of these people. You think they're just like you. They wake up, they eat their cereal, they put on their pants one leg at a time, they go to work, support their families, they come home, have dinner, go to bed, and repeat the next day. That is not the case. In the minds of these people, if you've ever had a conversation with one for more than 3 minutes, there is an imaginary white man who torments them day and night, who abuses them, who follows them around, who tells police to pull them over, who will not allow them to do anything. There was actually, and if you do ask, in 2020, there was a white man with a machine gun that made them stay home, made them not go to work. They would not break it, made them wear the mask. In their mind, there is so much hatred and animosity and anger towards white people who have no idea that they exist. These are things that you would know if you asked, or if you just had any sort of, more than a surface level conversation with them. These people are a ticking time bomb, as we saw in 2020. The problem is, when you have a weapon that's emotional, it can be used. It's easy to control, but it can also be used against you. It's a very fickle and fragile weapon. But unfortunately, the weapon is being burnt out now. It's not going to have the same power as before. Their community, I'm going to be one of the first to tell you this, has been decimated by what was actually offered to them, that they volunteered to do to themselves back in the year of our Lord 2021, that no one's allowed to talk about. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Dale Bigtree talked about it, and they were kicked off the internet. I've lost so many of my Instagram pages, YouTube channels. I'm not allowed to talk about it. But if you know the title of this podcast, you know what I'm talking about. This community was meant to get them was meant to get the Democrats to this point where they can reshape history. And then they were going to be done away with them. That's how communist revolutions go. Once you're done using the people that put you in power, you have to get rid of them because they now know how to game the system to remove people from power. And that was very successful. This community, little do you know, because you don't know a lot of them, has been ravished. I would say they've lost millions of their citizens, and no one's really reporting on it or paying attention, just because you have a lot of issues with this community when it comes to deleting children in the womb, and gang violence, and lots of diseases from hypertension, and a lot of other issues as well. But the increase in heart attacks, strokes, blood clots in the past 2 years has wiped. And when I tell you, so these are the numbers I'm only giving you so far. There's more to come. Why do you think no one is talking much to this community anymore? Back in 2019, Trump met with Ice Cube and offered the platinum plan. He knew for a fact that they really did have nothing to lose. They rejected it. Trump is no longer doing anything to pander to this community because this community is losing any of its numbers. They're losing so many of their numbers every day that there is not really a factor anymore. They don't have that type of influence, and it used to be a block. When you go from 40 million to 35 million to 30 million, and you're on a decline, not just because of what 2021 alone, but because of all the other factors that are literally wiping out this group. I tell people, do you think you're the only one with access to the internet? You think billionaires like Bill Gates and Fauci and Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, you don't think they watch and they see you and your people on the internet doing all the same things the rest of us do, where we're like, we don't want to live next to them because of how they behave and their culture? There are other people who have more money and influence that literally decided to do something about it, and this community is now being wiped. That's why nobody cares about this. This means nothing at all. It just, I mean, even the notion of it is it's laughable. For example, like I said, you've seen all these different people walking in. This is them coming in to Costco. She said shopping for justice, which means nothing. It makes no sense at all. A boycott. What? But this is what happened a few minutes later. What they did was a lap, which is a lap. They walked around the store. Grand opening, grand closing. Now they're leaving. There's no one waiting in line to buy anything. You heard what he said? He said, it doesn't look like anybody's buying anything. They're not. They came for free stuff. If they would have known they were going to be required or expected to purchase anything, they wouldn't have shown up. Communists don't pay for anything. People, the illusion, my family's from a communist country. People in a communist country, they told the reason, the way they became into power is they said that the sense of racism you feel from people that you think are fair-skinned, that are doing better than you, the cure to racism is communism. And they bought it. And now they have nothing. Sure, we don't have to pay rent, but you're going to live where they tell you you're going to live for generations. It's literally kind of like being in the projects in America, except the difference is in the United States, at any given time, you can choose to go get a job and work and build up yourself and get out of the projects. Where my family's from, we don't have that option. Government cheese, if you remember that from the 70s, that's before I was even born, was something that was a communist tool. They would give you a select of certain products that they give you. In a communist country, you get a voucher that when you go to the store, there's only 4 things on the shelves anyway. They give you your cheese, they give you your rice, let you get seasoning, maybe lamb, sometimes chicken. That's it. You have your rations for a certain period of time. It's crazy that when people are asking for that in the United States, but it's like there's other countries that already offer it that you could go to. Why are you expecting me to pay for you? And that's what some of these people feel like is a utopia, a magical place where they can go and not have to work and not have to do anything and just kind of live off the system. And I'll be honest, all of that started under Martin Luther King. He was a statist. He was a communist. Before MLK, these people owned businesses. They owned bus companies. They owned restaurants. After MLK, people were literally protesting to not go to Black-owned restaurants. Black people did not want to go to Black-owned restaurants. They didn't want to ride the Black-owned bus that was right behind the bus that Rosa Parks was so adamant about sitting in the front of. She could have just used her money and bought and patronized the Black business owner, the Black business bus right behind the bus that she was on. They didn't want to. They felt white people were superior. And now, X amount of years later, they pretend they want to reject it, but they don't. They just want a hug from somebody white. They just want somebody white to give them free shit. Look, they're walking out of the Costco. Why did you go? And this is the funniest video of all. And this is the part where you kind of just have to, it's funny, but it's also sad at the same time. Right here.
Story will leave you all getting shot. Go back and shot. We'll see you on the way back.
Nobody gonna shop today is what she screams out. This man, out of all of these communists, is the only one that's like, wait a minute. Wait, what are we protesting here? Wait, why are we here? We're not here. And this is the one now that is slowly going to reject all of the nonsense. But but it's a cult. Once you start questioning the cult, you're no longer a part of the cult. And if he gives it enough time, they're going to tell him, you ain't Black. Because you can't question the cult. You do what the cult tells you to do. Right now, he's trying to tell people to go in there and purchase the store they just walked through. And because that's the purpose of a boycott, you're supposed to buy stuff. But magically, nobody came there to buy anything. People came there looking for free handouts. I hate to be right about this because, I take no joy. Think about it. I would rather be at a lounge right now or doing something else. No, I'm literally sitting here making videos because I just feel like more videos need to be made about what's going on, because it has to eventually resonate in you to reject this and do something else, to say, no, this doesn't make sense, start to question your reality, start questioning your motives and your moves. And then you start realizing how much stuff you do that just doesn't make sense. I make these videos because, and I only have a very small audience right now. It's not like a huge audience of people. A few friends, a couple of family members, they watch my content. They're surprised that I make it. I'm a party guy, so no one thought I had any political views. I come off as extremely shallow. and a wild guy. I don't seem like somebody that ever, makes report about this kind of stuff. Problem is, back in March of 2020, I was, with my girlfriend at the time, and we were going to our favorite bar to have drinks, and they told us we couldn't come in. And they closed our bar. I had left my debit card there the night before. I went back to get it too. I couldn't get it. That bar did not reopen for 3 years. After that, things got so bad. It was only a few short months later, I had to leave my hometown of downtown, my home city of Los Angeles. I had to move. I had no idea any of this was coming in February of 2020. And by April, I was gone. My whole life uprooted, forced evacuation. That's how bad things got. I make these videos because people not knowing what's going on, not paying attention, my friends and family around me can affect my bottom line. I wanted to go out and have a good time with my girlfriend that night or for the rest of our lives. I couldn't do it because my bottom line was destroyed and I was unprepared. So I make these videos for my small audience, but also for myself as well. Think about it. People get tired of you bringing up these conversations at dinner. They don't want to hear them all the time. So you come and you try to find people of like kind on the internet or like mind, and you have these conversations with them. You point out their hypocrisy and their ignorance and how ridiculous they sound and how the stuff they're saying doesn't make sense. And eventually something will click. And they'll say, oh, look at this man. Look how old he is. Black man. He's been in a cult his whole life. You think he showed up here thinking he was going to be the only person to notice that nobody bought shit and Jesse and Reverend Sharpton is gone? You think he planned on talking like this? No. This just happened. He might have heard one of my videos while he was walking through somewhere or something. You don't know what's going to trigger it, but something in this man's mind made him decide to go against the grain, to risk being booted from the cult, to try to stop people from doing something that was going to be embarrassing. He's not going to want to do it again. Let's play the video one more time. I've been watching this video since I saw it, and it's amazing. It's an amazing video that he's trying. It's like that one sheep that's like, wait a minute. On the other side of that door that we're lining up from is a axe that's slaughtering us, and the rest of the sheep are like, shut the hell up with your conspiracy theory. There's no such thing. Look.
The story will be you all getting shot.
He's saying, please. He's begging to stop you from walking into the slaughter. He's stopping you from leaving and basically embarrassing yourselves and he thought this was something else. He didn't know they were here being communists, expecting free stuff. He actually probably showed up there thinking they were actually going to start patronizing and do a big buy-in, show some black power. I just told you the black community is just decimated. They've lost millions of people and no one's reporting it. I have no less than 10 friends back in LA because the area, the black communities that were hit the hardest were those that had the weather manipulated from 2021 through 2023. California was ground zero for the experiment. That's how because you can make what they did to themselves, you can activate it. It has to work, but it needs a certain type of weather condition and you need certain type of lighting. California was the experiment. I have no less than 10 friends that lost 4 or 5 family members in a month out of the blue all of a sudden in the winter of 2022, winter of 2023. They're just being decimated. So when Biden came out and said, you're looking at a dark winter, he was talking about a dark winter for dark people because that's who it affected the most. And no one wants to talk about it except for me. I don't shy away from the topic. I studied it. And it's like, okay, if I got to shut up to get along with you, then we just ain't gonna get along. It's just not gonna work. This man is where I was at one time. He's like he's literally trying to stop the crowd from leaving. He's begging. You think he put on this nice sweater and his beanie with his little fox, little fake Versace shades just so he can come out here and go against the grain? No, he's not there for that. but he couldn't stop himself. He has to point this out.
Need you all. We'll see you on the way back. We need you to go to the shop.
No one hired him to come here and be the usher to send people back into Costco. They walked in, they did a lap, and they left. They got pictures, they made a little video, and they left. And this made national headline news for all the wrong reasons. It was actually another embarrassing stain on the community. This community is being wiped, by the way. I tell people all the time, buy Black memorabilia, Jordans, CDs, music. This culture is not going to persist for a very long time, but also systematically they're being reduced. They're not reproducing. You're not allowed to get married in their culture anymore. There is no family. There's no children. This community is being removed from the gene pool brick by brick. I'm from a different community. I'm just dark skinned. You know, one of my parents is really light. One of my parents is really dark. I'm not from this demographic, but I can pass. So I can walk amongst them, walk amongst my own people. I speak English as well, obviously. So I can see the propaganda targeted towards them, but then I'm outside of the cult. So I mean, I'm watching it happen and I'm like, you guys don't see that? But they don't. They live in a black world where everything is black or white. They don't believe Asians exist. They don't believe in the existence of Latinos or Pacific Islanders. No. Everything is either black or white. Whites are their gods. Whites are their parents. And they want whites to give them free stuff and take care of them forever. And this man right here was trying to stop it. And the woman screams out. What does she scream out? Nobody's going to shop today. They wanted daddy government to do it. You know, that, like I said, this group is not going to be around for much longer. And it's a sad thing because no one wants to ever think about people being wiped out systematically. We watched it happen during what they say, they said it happened during the Holocaust. But this is way more precise. I mean, this is literally testing new technology where you can target people with race-based bioweapons. And literally has been reported on, verified, and nobody's talking about it. Why do you think they're going against RFK Jr. so hard? He's the literal person who blew the whistle on the research. If you give that man a microphone and a platform and you confirm him and he actually makes it to be on the stage with the president, with the ear of the country, and he says it again that all of those childhood injections are a direct attack on black boys, and people say, well, what do you mean? And he is the HHS secretary, and he says, well, actually, they're all testosterone based, and this particular group in our population has the highest testosterone levels of any other group. So these medications specifically target this group, and the effects it has on this group is different than the effect it has on this group. So that means these are targeted race-based weapons. Once that information comes out, and then you start attributing all the other medical issues that this group has, and all the other unexplained deaths and the SIDS and the sterilization. Do you know what that's going to do to the country? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say good riddance, but it'll be, even if you think that, you got to wonder, when are you going to be next? That could affect the stability of the country, depending on what angle. It is a risk. I would rather know than not know that this is happening. But that time is upon us. If RFK Jr. is confirmed, they're going to have to risk this information coming out. Now, I've played the videos for you when him and Dale Bigtree were kicked off the internet in 2020 for what they said, that it's a direct attack on black boys. Once you find out why that is, and they explain to you the mechanics, your mind is blown. Then you understand why the Russians had to invade the Ukraine when they found those same type of biolabs in the Ukraine trying to make a bioweapon that would attack Russians, but not Ukrainians, because they're so close genetically. If you can figure out how to do basically make something that you can inject into people, or a pathogen that is surgical that could distinguish between the two, and you can do that in the United States, you could literally target this group, which they did successfully. Your favorite Black actors, your favorite Black comedians, your favorite Black athletes, they've all been, most of them are deleted or they're on their way out. Every day you see them. You don't see every portion of the population being diminished like that. No, just this one particular group. It's all connected. So yeah, you're not gonna have to deal with it for much longer, but after then you got to ask, well, who's next? Do me a favor, if you're following on Rumble, like and subscribe to the Instagram too, the Safe and Effective Podcast. I mean, I've gained hundreds of new followers there. I post tons of content every day. And then what I do is I do like a thing where I go back to my own Instagram page and we just go through the topics sometimes and we talk about it. A lot of my topics right now are about this whole, the trans gay stuff, but it's also connected to the Black stuff. You know, the Black community is the gay community now. The trans community is the Black community. To be Black is to be gay is what it said on one of those signs, and it's true. I would have thought they made strange bedfellows, but I was wrong. You know, when you share delusion, if you're a man, right, and you believe that, oh my God, I can have a period and I can give birth and I can get pregnant and I'm a male, I was born a male. That's delusion. If you are just getting up to live your regular life, but in the back of your head, there's a white man who's tormenting you, following you, stopping you from progressing in life, and you know, pulling you over for no reason and killing you, and millions of you, according to them. You know, you ask the average Black person how many Black people are killed by law enforcement every year, innocent and unarmed. They'll tell you anywhere from 30,000 to 1 million per year. That's delusion. So it's not strange bedfellows when you have two groups that both share a delusion of some evil white antagonist who's never met them or done anything to them, but they both share that this person is the enemy. And then you wonder why Trump is saying, wait a minute, all this anti-white straight male stuff has to stop. That's why. It's all connected. And, you know, one thing about me is I've been decent when it comes to being able to explain this to people. They just have to listen. And I'm open to these conversations with people. I do lives with others and we talk about it. And it's just, you have to see the connection. You have to know. But I can't have these conversations on every platform. They won't allow it. So I have to speak in codes. But, you know, it's worth it regardless, because there are some people who are listening and there's more and it's growing. And like I said, I love to read the news and go over this stuff. And we're going to go over some more news stories. Actually, after this live, I was just going to end it in a second. But I mean, there's a lot happening. And, you know, this particular group has been weaponized against the Republic. But the Democrats, in their short-term thinking, have literally got rid of one of their best weapons. I mean, the numbers are dwindling and no one's even paying attention to them. 4 years ago, people cared about the Black community and what they thought, because that was a powerful base. They've been deleted so much that now and there's so many other people that have replaced them that no one even really cares. No one cares to pander to them or hear this extreme nonsense.
New Jersey, I believe it's Newark. Al Sharpton and you just marched through Costco for a boycott. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you guys decided to come out?
I mean, well, definitely we see the attacks from our recent administration, the Trump administration, from our president, cracking down on DEI.
How can DEI be an attack on a straight Black woman? DEI was an attack on gays, apparently, because the only people that benefit from that were gays and trans. Diversity in thought, diversity in sexuality. It wasn't diversity in race. That wasn't something that was a part of DEI. And if you look at who's the people that benefited the most, it was actually, I believe they said gay white women. It's nothing to do with black people. So, but that just shows you that it's a cult. Someone told her to say it. It's not like she went and read herself and researched it. Someone told her what to think, and she's literally regurgitating it, making herself look foolish. But again, you cannot shame the shameless. They have no shame. So you can't make them feel bad, but there's no consequences. I mean, I'll give you an example, right? Pakistan, black lady.
I'm not talking unless y'all giving me land 2,000 or more every week. You hear me? I'm getting my Pakistani passport and Pakistani ID. I'm getting it. Do y'all agree? Mind your business. What?
This is a random, mentally disabled, mentally delusional black woman who just popped up in the country of Pakistan that is not known for the men being soft and weak and just taking crap from women. She just pops up there and sent the entire country of Pakistan in the shock. She's surrounded by men. There's no women anywhere around. This is not a place where women are known for just getting out of line. But no one's done anything to her yet because everyone's in shock. Everyone thinks that everyone's looking around for Ashton Kutcher to pop out in Pakistan and say, "Hey, gotcha." And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's Ashton. I know I was being punked." They can't believe this is happening.
Okay, for Mr. Chipper. So thank you. Have a good day.
Just have a seat, sister. Have a seat. Please sit, please, sister. 5 minutes, please.
I said,
असल में शाजी इनका मामला थोड़ा सा ज़हनी का भी है ये ज़हनी तौर पर जो
Look at this.
I'm here to open up real estate and build houses in the back and pools for the people, the residents of Pakistan. That's all I have to say.
You don't speak Pakistani. You're not married. She catfished a young man who lives in Pakistan. He's 19 years old. She catfished him, and once she showed up, I guess she found out where he lived. His parents have now taken him into hiding to get away from this woman. This is an example of what's going on in the United States. You just don't pay attention to these people enough to know that this form of mass delusion psychosis is common. I have an ex-girlfriend who's literally, her skin color is translucent. She's whiter than most white people I know. But in her mind, she is a victim and she was a slave not too long ago. And there's these evil white people tormenting her and oppression and white supremacy and all types. Bro, she threw so many buzzwords at me recently and she started to short circuit because if you ask her to give you an example or to show you some proof of this, where, you know, something I can measure and something I can rate, they can't. And then that's when everything breaks down. But most of them, especially the women, unfortunately, they're not grounded in reality. They live in their minds. And look at us. This is a New York woman. You can tell by her accent.
What is your demand from Pakistani government? Is to respect my religion, to give me more than 5,000 or more, 5,000 to 10,000 USD demand, so I can make Pakistan a better place.
She's only a second away from saying she wants to make Pakistan great again. This is beyond common. No one just platforms these people enough to listen to them, but this is what the talks are like amongst each other that other people don't know about.
I'm not talking.
You're not talking, but you're holding a microphone. And these are just, like I said, these people are just in shock. Now, when black people started first going to Dubai, they were in shock too. They quickly learned how to handle these people. They learned how to handle these delusion entitled Western blacks. Even if they have money, they know how to handle them now. But at first they didn't. They were like, what the hell is going on? Pakistan is going to have to learn the hard way. If they even consider giving this woman a red cent, that would be the same as Lyft giving that big lady a penny, because now you're opening up the floodgates for more. You give that big lady a penny who the driver said, hey, you'll break my damn car if you get in here. The rest of them are going to also flood because it's a hustle. It's a scam culture. It's a communist culture where we have to game and look for free stuff. There is no work. There is no building. There's not even building families. That's why there's no marriages. There's nothing left there. And look at this. This is an example. Look what she's saying. How do you go to another country and tell them they're going to give you money? I mean, yeah, the illegals do it in the United States every day, but even that's being rejected now. But look at the audacity of this mentally ill person that they're just allowing to fly around and walk amongst them. She doesn't have any security. There's no way for her to defend herself. There's no weapons. And she just doesn't give a damn because that's how she lives in her mind. She doesn't live in reality. She has no idea the danger she's in. In Pakistan, they will lock her up for way less than this. Is there an embassy? Is there an extradition treaty? Who do you think is going to come save her? This is not the Biden administration that was willing to give up the angel of death for a transgendered 7-foot man named Brittany Griner. They calls himself Brittany, probably was Brian Griner. You know, people act like, oh, how do you think that's a man? You act like hormone treatments don't work. I've seen women with full beards. We've seen men who you're like, I can't believe that's a woman. I can't believe that's not a woman. They shave down. They have surgeries to shave down their shoulder pads and Adam's apple and contouring just to appear female. You act like that's not a real thing. And yeah, that happened with Grindr too, who also suffers from the delusion. But even now, he's starting to say, now that he has a kid on the way, I want my kid to call me Pops.
2,000 or more.
She went from 5,000 to 2,000 to 3,000. She's just, and it's like everyone's laughing at her, but also everyone's wondering, okay, when are they going to just come disappear her? Because, well, who's gonna put up a fuss? You think the Trump administration is going to come over here and save this woman? Are you freaking kidding me? Don't send her back here. This is not her country no more. She's expatriated herself. I mean, this is beyond embarrassing, but it should be embarrassing for our people. But what did I say earlier? You cannot shame the shameless. They did a boycott, but refused to buy shit. Do you see the correlation? Do you see the pattern?
Pakistani passport, Pakistani ID. Do y'all agree? Watch this.
She's talking to these people like she could take a punch. Like if somebody just snatched her little ass up and drug her into the back of a van, she could do anything to this. It's the delusion. And he's telling people to go back, and they don't see that he's right. They're not saying maybe we should go. Do you see nothing is clicking? There's a glitch in the matrix. Something is wrong. And I've been screaming this for years now, ever since 2020. I feel like everyone just lost their damn minds. Like, I think, what? Something happened. There was a shift between universes or something. Some people stayed, some people moved, and everything is not on the same. Everybody's not on the same page anymore. They don't understand she's being facetious. They think she's actually, because see, English is not their first language. So they don't understand that she's being a smart ass or she's being rude. They don't get the nuance of her words, or they would be offended. They don't understand that she's offending their country and basically playing playing them like they're soft. Like, this is insane.
Listen, what I don't live in chilling. You chilling here?
I'm chilling. You know what's crazy? They were chilling at Costco. They're not going back to shop. She's not getting a passport, but in their minds, that's what's about to happen. It's delusion. How do you reason with people who live in their own separate universe detached from reality? How do you coexist? It's like having a wife that in her mind, you're like this evil, bad man, but you're just like, but in reality, you're a nice guy because you tell her, hey, I don't want you to wear, what Kanye wife wore to the Grammys. Now you're just this controlling, abusive, evil man. That happens a lot in relationships, that where people will, they live in, you don't understand the mindset and the mental place that the person you're laying next to is, and that's what makes them dangerous. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. Only one out of 200 people is saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. Go back and buy some shit. It's a boycott. It is a boycott. Go buy something. It defeats the purpose of being here if we don't buy anything. She doesn't get it either. That she's probably going to be disappeared if she's not already out of the country.
It's none of your business. Now go home. Yeah.
And she's probably not even drunk. You're telling this grown-ass man to go home. You couldn't even really get away with that in the U.S. before somebody might sneak you.
I told you, I'm not smoking and 5,000 a week from me. Bro,
this is insane. And you want to reason with these people? You think Trump should go say, let's do another platinum package. Matter of fact, this is DEI. You want me to make this woman right here an air traffic controller or a pilot just because of how she looks? You're insane. So capitulating and trying to keep these things around to make this type of woman, these type of people, to make them happy, thinking that they will never be happy. That's not a part of the communist. Klaus Schwab said, you'll own nothing and be happy. The only thing that would make these people happy is if the people who they're envious and jealous of, which are white people, if they lose everything. And that way they'll own nothing. They won't own anything either. Then these people will finally be happy because they want to see you fall. They want to see you lose everything. Why do you think they celebrated all the businesses closing in California during the lockdown? I was there. Why do you think this community saved Gavin Newsom from the recall? I was there. I didn't leave until I found out that they were the ones who voted against it in numbers. I was there. 2021 California. I was actually helping with the recall. This is insane.
And USD. Because it's expensive to talk. Go home.
Bro, and these are the type of women that are actually holding a lot of men's kids in the United States hostage, taking you to court, preventing you from being a father and breaking down families. Like, these are the type of women you're having to deal with in the United States. Why do you think passport brothers exist? This is crazy, and no one wants to call it crazy. I'm the outlier. Like, what? I'm not special. This should be on headline news. Hey, there's a problem with mental illness, and giving in and pretending that it's not a mental illness is not going to solve this problem. This is a weapon. This is a weapon. This causes problems in our society. We can't. There's no coexisting with this. And I don't think the Pakistanis are going to coexist with this. Hopefully she's already out of the country, but please don't bring her back here. We have enough. We have enough. She would be at this boycott right now, pissed off, like, where's my free stuff? Where's all my free groceries? That's what she would come for.
Yeah, pack up and go home. No. Because y'all don't have no money. Y'all don't have 5,000 USD.
The worst part is her own people. The worst part is her own people are not denouncing this publicly and coming out and saying she's crazy. She shouldn't be there. She does not represent us. She's wrong. Again, you can't shame the shameless. They don't care. They're just, for them, it's fine.
I'm asking for 100K or more.
Now it's 100K or more. She wants to be bought out when easily she could just be deleted. She wants money to get rid of her. Oh my God, dude. This is probably one of the craziest things that I've seen in days. This is almost, I mean, for me, this is, you see it so much when you're paying attention. I mean, you got to think about it. I watch people that live in the hoods blow each other away. I see the videos every night on Twitter. I've met a lot of the people. I know them personally. They get blown away. And when you talk to their friends and family, they'll still tell you the biggest problem they have in their area, in their community, are the police officers, white police officers, when there's really no white police in LA no more. All the police are Latinos, a sprinkle of blacks. There's no white police. But let them tell it. Even though the police are there to stop them from blowing each other to smithereens every night, the police are the problem. Like, that's what I mean. Like, you cannot reason with this delusion. There's no way to do it. It doesn't make sense. Look at this person. Listen. Then she says, we're going to get our passports. We're going to move to Dubai's. Plural. There's 2 Dubai. I'm not saying she should speak good English, but this is what's being sent around the world. This is what we're exporting. This is an example of the culture that we've sent to the UK. Now they're over there stabbing each other to death and making music about it. We sent this culture to South Africa. The culture that we're exporting is a poison. Now Trump and other Americans are saying, wait a minute, we got to do something about it. We'll lose everything. Everything that our ancestors built, the wars that we fought so that we can gain independence, we're going to let a bunch of communists and, mentally ill people bring it down. We can't. We can't.
I need 20K by this week.
100K, 20K, 5K, 2K, 3K. But I'm the crazy one, right? Because I bring it up. I'm the psycho. Okay.
Okay, in my pocket, in cash. Okay, that's a demand to the government. The government is gonna fix up these buildings, fix up the streets, clean up these streets. It's ridiculous out here. I do not like it. Okay?
If you don't like it, get the hell out of there. Why are you there? Who invited you to come over there and criticize these people in their country? It just shows you the level of entitlement. That's why I said people have been weaponized in this country. And this is an example of what happens when you let the weapon loose on another unsuspecting nation. But eventually they're going to develop a callus for this, and they will never let this mistake happen again. I bet you the next time anything like this remotely happens, they're going to have a countermeasure, and they are going to drop the hammer. You think they're going to drop the hammer tomorrow on all those people waving flags in downtown LA blocking the roads? That they're going to drop the hammer on there too, but they're really, these other countries, going to drop the hammers, and they're going to have a low to zero tolerance for entitled Black Westerners, either from the UK, English-speaking Black people, because when people understand, there's only so many Black people that speak English around the world. They're in the UK, United States. It's a very, most people that are dark around the world speak Portuguese, or that's the number one language they speak around the world, or French. English is a very small subset, but it seems like they have an issue with the most delusions, and it causes a lot of the issues. And the world is rejecting it already, not just the United States, the world in general. I've given enough examples tonight where you can understand this. And I see people on Rumble, and people are sending me DMs, and we're talking about it. I just got to set up my stream so I can see the messages in real time. But I mean, this is insane, but this is happening. And you have to know what's going on so you can know what to look out for, what to prepare for. Backlash for this.
Right now, I'm going to my fucking business. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Okay. Oh, yeah, please come here.
And they're just allowing her to talk like this because they're just like, it's kind of like if you're if you're at a zoo and you jump into a lion's den, The lions are not going to immediately just pounce on you and attack you. They're wondering what the hell you're doing there. They're like, what is this? And they looking at the other lions like, you know this motherfucker? Y'all know this motherfucker? And they kind of sit around in a state of deer in the headlights for a second. And then they're like, okay, is this food? Like, what is this? Why is this thing down here with us, talking to us, telling us, you lions need to go over there and clean up your mess. You other lions should go swim. And then you go to sleep and then you go get me a coffee. The lions are like, bitch, there's no Starbucks in this lion. We're in a zoo. There's no Dunkin' Donuts where I go get you. What are you talking? And for a minute, the lions are confused too. And then the lions are going to snap out of it and they will be lions again. That's what's pending here. And now we're just watching what leads up to it. That's why you're seeing people share this, because they're like, you know, she's causing havoc.
It's not talking. She's giving me 2,000 or more every week. You hear me? I'm getting my Pakistani passport and Pakistani ID.
She's refusing to leave the country.
You're chilling here. Why are you not taking your flight?
It's none of your business.
This, bro, imagine this is what we're dealing with in the United States. People waving foreign flags, but they won't go to those foreign countries. They refuse to leave, so we got to force them. She's refusing to leave, but I mean, I'm sure they have deportation laws there. She's like their whole country is watching this circus. If you're in Pakistan, if you're in Bangladesh, if you're in India, if you're in Sri Lanka, if you're in anybody in that world right now is watching this, like, what the hell? Unless you're watching it from the United States and you're like, yeah, I've seen this before. I've seen this. I go to the store. I've been to the mall. I know what happens when you see a bunch of these people. This is normal. But now they're starting to branch out to other countries randomly and target kids. That's a problem. And like they said, you know, people want to make it seem like these countries are so brutal to people all the time. They're not. Instead of being deported, jailed, or worse, she was giving free food, shelter, healthcare, and a ticket home. So I ask you, who really has freedom of speech and will? She's a part of a protected class because she's a weapon. They protect them because this is their last ditch weapon. Once this weapon is gone, though, they don't have anything left. There is nobody else. This group protects the gays. The gays that run the Democrat Party, these are their foot soldiers. It's a whole army structure that I've done dissertations about where I can explain to you. These are the frontline security forces. These are the military. This is right here. That's why they protect them. They have to. That's why they need them on the streets. These are their soldiers. They do all their footwork. And they don't really care about the gay stuff. Like, they don't agree with it, but it's a cult. And, you know, like I said, you make a strange bedfellows, but this is what they have to align to in their battle against white supremacy, this imaginary group of white people that are tormenting them, that gays and blacks both share that same delusion, but only them. No one else in the country feels like that. Just those two groups, which is crazy, but people don't get it.
I demand from the government more than $5,000 in USD to make Pakistan a better place. Good night.
These are different interviews. These are not the same one played over and over again. These are different. She's a spectacle. This is a circus. They're flying in from other parts of the country just to get a glimpse of this craziness, because no one, for one thing, you don't see women. Look at all these videos. There's no women around. You don't see women in Pakistan getting out of line, talking to men. It's not a part of their culture. They know better. It's not like that. This is the first that they've ever seen. This is, you know, it's kind of like seeing a pink dolphin or something. This is a freak of nature in a way.
I'm from here. I'm from here now.
No. What's your plan?
My plan? I just told you to make Pakistan a better place, to build houses and make better hotels, and bring food into this country. That's none of your business, and I don't know what you're talking about.
What coming from?
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, bro. This was not on my bingo card. Like, this is an international incident right now. And if all of a sudden no one can find her anymore, if you look at her, she could just walk in traffic. You know, with those type of delusion, she could just say the bus should stop for me. I shouldn't have to stop for the bus. I should be able to walk in front of a speeding bus and the bus hits the brake. Everybody on the bus flies out the windows and crashes, and I should get the right of way. That's the type of mentality this person is. How this person hasn't, you know, walked off a building in all these years they've been on Earth is I'm shocked that she's even lived this long. Look, this is the funny.
Moving to Dubai very soon. A baby in Dubai. It's private. I'm Muslim, and it's against my religion to tell you my business. Excuse me. I just said it's against my religion to tell you my business, okay? I'm fine. Make sure y'all get this on your camera. I'm married to Nidel Ahmed. I'm on.
She is not married to the kid. He's 19 years old. His parents are afraid of her, and they got him out of the area. It says woman, Onijah Andrew Robinson, who traveled to Karachi to meet her online boyfriend, Nidal Ahmed Maimon, who is 19 years old, by the way, returned to his residence at the garden area on Friday. This is crazy.
Unless y'all giving me land. And two, you talk too much.
Okay.
We don't know what you're saying.
We don't know what you're saying. Lady, who's we? You're in Pakistan. He speaks Pakistani. Everyone knows what the hell he's saying. Most people don't know what you're saying. Barely anybody knows what you're saying. Only a few reporters speak English. There's no need for the locals to speak a lot of English. No one knows what you're saying. Do you see that there is a pattern here?
Not just for African Americans, but for many people, was allow people the opportunity to use their skills that they study, that they practice, in fields that they were denied. This is that opportunity, right? And so what they've done is flipped it to mean that people are not qualified and they don't deserve their jobs, and that's just not true.
To follow up, how would you respond to somebody who says we should be hiring strictly on merit and not on DEI or other qualities like that?
We are hiring.
Isn't on DEI more than just, it's diversity, equity, inclusion, not merit? There's no merit in there.
Yes, it is merit. The merit is the fact that we worked hard. We went to school. We studied. You know, we have experience. The problem is that there's been barriers for us to get in specific fields. And what DEI did, not just for African Americans, but for many, a country that is people of color, slowly and surely. So in a minute, people saying they don't want diversity, equity, inclusion is going to be talking about they don't want American families. American families are not the same as they were. American families
1,000 or more every week. You hear me? I'm getting my Pakistani passport and Pakistani ID.
Where is this coming from?
I'm getting it. Do y'all agree?
Oh. I want to hear this. Now this guy made it to being the New Jersey gubernatorial candidate. So this is a candidate. He's not
the
governor.
Barriers for us to get in specific fields. And what DEI does is remove those barriers, remove those obstacles.
We've seen rollbacks to affirmative action in 2023. The Supreme Court's been rolling back things like this. What do you think the future of DEI and other sort of programs like this
is? Slowly and surely becoming a country that is of mixed race, a country that is people of color, slowly and surely. So in a minute, people saying they don't want diversity, equity, inclusion is going to be talking about they don't want American families. American families are not the same as they were. American families are mixed. They come from mixed cultures, mixed backgrounds, mixed people, and our economy can't grow unless we see everybody in it and we include folks in our economy. Right. So it has this whole argument about merit is a thin veil to uphold racism and white supremacy.
Merit is a thin veil to uphold racism and white supremacy. Merit, accomplishment, showing that you actually have the know-how to do a job. You're doing it based on the merits. They want to remove that and base it off of your appearance and your sexuality. Because again, it's not even about being black, it's about being gay. Likely gay. Lots of these people, gay. No wives. No, there's children, but bastards. There's no marriages where that's where they come from, and it's a separate class of people now. Sharing in a mass formation psychosis delusion where merit equates to white supremacy. Just like how you see in a lot of the schools now, having curriculum tests are racist. Confirming that your child can read at a 7th grade level before being allowed to advance to 8th grade is racist because it indirectly targets black children in the 7th grade. Why are your black children so far behind other children? Other children who are also dark, that are just not American. Other children from other parts of the world, like myself. How does racism and oppression bypass me and only attack you? And it can never be explained because of the delusion. They're already starting to get tired of her. You see the guy over here was trying to be nice, but he's like, if you don't get the hell out of here, this guy right here, he wants to put hands and feet on her. Look.
You talk so much.
Okay.
We don't know what you
She thinks there's a white American policeman that's going to come save her. You know, those same white policemen that they hate, that they wanted to defund, that they say all these things about. She thinks she can just call 911 and some white policemen are going to come and rescue her like they would in the United States, no matter what her views are, what she said the day before. She thinks there's somebody white that's going to come save her in this country because she has no idea what she's doing. Telling people to back up, grown ass men back up. And if they say no, and if they don't back up, what are you going to do?
New York. Money is short right now, and I will appreciate it. Thank you. Ooh, child, you heard this story about that lady named Andrews? This woman flew all the way to Pakistan to marry this 9-year-old boy. She been catfishing all life. Parents got wind of what was going on, and this old baby trying to come down there and marry their son. They kept his ass up, and he's been hiding out ever since. She can't find him. Now this lady sat outside. She said she's not going away. Her little young pulls back up. She's not going nowhere unless I'm going to that shop giving me land 2,000 or more every week.
Worst part is when she gets back to the States, they're going to celebrate her. They're going to prop her up. She's going to be doing interviews. They're going to turn another idiot into a famous person. This is an older, darker, heavier version of Bad Barbie. You know, the girl from Catch Me Outside, remember on Dr. Phil? She's going to be the next Catch Me Outside. She will be booking interviews. They will be paying her to go on podcasts, even though they're going to be making fun of her and poking fun at her. They're just going to make somebody like her, because she's famous now. She's famous. She's internationally famous now, but she's famous for the wrong things. So just keep that in mind. You're going to be seeing more of her once she gets back to the States.
You hear me? So they tried to put her on a plane. And then she turned around and she said, I ain't going nowhere till y'all give me my money on, or my husband come marry me, the little 19-year-old. Yeah. But he didn't show up.
You're chilling here. Why are you not taking your flight?
It's none of your business. Now go home. Police them still trying to get her ass to fuck up out their country. And this is what she keeps saying. She keep acting like she's psycho and she crazy. She don't know. They said they still gonna put her ass on a plane and get the fuck up out of Pakistan.
And this is the type of woman that they're literally specifically saying they wanted to work for the FAA. Women with severe mental disabilities, people with mental handicaps, Black women, Black people. This is exactly verbatim what they had on their website that they were looking for. She, under the Biden administration, she had a very, very bright future in aviation. She could have been the head of Boeing, actually, if you look at all the problems they're having. Please leave me alone. And this woman is being so nice and so tolerant. I mean, it's just now she's trying to extort the Pakistani government. This is incredible. Again, mass delusions. None of it makes any sense. And the only people it makes sense to is each other. So they have to be around each other. This made sense to them around each other. This is the guy that's trying to stop people from leaving because he doesn't realize it, but he's in the front. He's in the front with Sharpton at first. Look, that's the guy right there with the beanie on, the glasses. That's him. And he's the only lone wolf that's like, wait a minute, why the hell are we leaving? We didn't buy shit. We didn't buy gum. We didn't buy a slice of pizza. We didn't buy a 50 box of the replaceable cartridges that go inside of the air fresheners. We didn't buy nothing. We didn't buy bulk toilet paper. We didn't buy the 100-pack of aloe vera lotion. Nothing. So they just came there to chant. And this, my friends, is DEI. This is why you have to reject it. And just, I'll be honest, there is no war against them anymore. They wipe themselves out. They're already being deleted every single day. I can give you the numbers. I can show you the proof. If you watch the Safe and Effective podcast, I explain how and why. Get on the Rumble, get on X, and I tell you how they've been deleted and how it works. I can tell you what's in those injections, what it's doing to your body, and what other words they're using to replace what's actually really going on. But it serves the same purpose: deletion. Just ask. You know, some people don't care to know because it's a really hard thing to swallow. The problem is there's a barrier for us to get into the fields. That's a lie. The fields are wide open. Oh man, that's funny. And look at her. I told you, she would have been in air traffic control. There are just so many of you filling those positions that 90% of air traffic controllers are understaffed. And they're begging for mentally ill and Black people. But that requires work. What do communists not want to do? Offering a communist a job is like offering a stripper a job. Strippers are strippers because they don't want to work. If they were open to just working somewhere, no matter how much money they paid, they would be working somewhere. No. They like the club because it's really like you're being paid to party. So it's not really work. It's the same thing. Why is this foreign? What happened to logic? I believe we used to be logic based. There's no way we could have made it this far as a society if everybody was just I don't know, just their brains just oozing out of their noses. Like what went wrong? Look, do me a favor, like and subscribe. Or bring up some other topics pretty soon. But this is insane. This has been a crazy news day. It is. There's been no slow news days since Trump came into office. I'm not expecting any. So I'm gonna post these. I'm gonna post this video, and we'll get to the next one. Thank you, and don't forget to take a word from our sponsor, cosigning.com. If you're looking to rent an apartment or a house, but you don't want to ask a friend or a family member, cosigning.com will match you with a qualified cosigner today, and you can get the home of your dreams. So go ahead and visit co-signing.com. And here goes a word from our sponsor.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.